Welcome back to my channel once again. As always, it's your favorite cinematographer here, But please, if you're new, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below. And if you're returning, I'll settle for a like, maybe a comment, maybe both. We have an interesting vlog for you guys today. So, full disclosure, you're not gonna see me like this throughout the vlog. It was just because I forgot to make an intro for the actual vlog when I was shooting. But for a little bit of context, this is the week that we finally start production for our experimental film that I was talking about a couple of videos ago. So you're gonna see some of the behind the scenes and what the day-to-day shenanigans were and kind of my thoughts on it, where I did remember to do it. Now, unfortunately, there are some bits and pieces to it that you're only gonna see the specifics of maybe after Experimental Fest or during that cycle, which will be in June. So yes, unfortunately, you do have to wait 2 months to kind of see how some of the other elements came out. Also, I'm not going to be able to show you guys the stills as well of the production, unfortunately, again, because it's still within its production cycle and it hasn't screened yet. So I don't want to show you guys something that's half-baked, but also my contract kind of says I can't. But I'll show you what I can. So this was a 3-day shoot and we had 2 days at school and then 1 day on location. So the first day and the third day were a mix of a studio day as well as a exterior school day, if that makes sense. So with day one, what was important was, actually before I get there, let me just run you through what the whole production was kind of like and how things went down. So we started shooting on Wednesday, and on Tuesday we went for a location recce, or a technical recce, because what happened was we had a couple locations that we wanted to shoot at and some we were leaning more towards, but due to some logistical difficulties here and there, we weren't able to get the final location that I think ideally we would have leaned more towards from just like a grading perspective and colors perspective, you know? So we were only able to sort of confirm the place that we were shooting at, I think the week of the production. So that's why we had to go for technical recce the day before we actually started shooting. But also this was a bit tricky because we had to do gear check that whole day and we had a lot of gear. Maybe I'll show you guys a list of all the gear that we had, but what made the gear check very not necessarily tedious but very long was I had to basically comprise the gear list of all the gear that I would need throughout the 3 days. Because also the other thing is, especially with filmmaking and cine, is you can't also just take gear for the scene that you have in mind or that you planned for, because anything can happen where things change and you want to be as malleable and adaptable as possible. So we had a lot of C stands, we had a lot of medium weight stands, we had a lot of extension cables. I think we only had about 8 extension cables and we had about 8 lights. So it was a very one-to-one kind of thing, even though we weren't going to be using all 8 lights at the same time. So there was that. What else? Yeah, and then also having a bunch of clamps, because I think what tends to happen, particularly when you have to build a set, oh man, the lighting just disappeared. That's so crazy. But when you need to build a set, right, sometimes production design might need some clamps from the cine side. So it's really important that you take a few extra clamps here and there where possible, while still being considerate of the other crews, of course. So after doing gear check, yeah, we went to do our technical recce to see how we're going to set up our scenes and where certain things were going to be and how things were going to be positioned. And then finally, we were ready to go for day one. Top of the morning, it's currently 7 a.m. and we have gear check, so hopefully
that didn't take too long, but we have a lot of gear to get through. So, fingers crossed. Better. Woo-wee. Top of the morning. The time is currently, I think, 6:45 right now. We're about to head to gear check. Just got our walkie-talkies, and yeah, I'm just gonna try and set up for these first two scenes. Hopefully, nothing goes off without a hitch. Some crazy stuff went down yesterday. I'm gonna tell y'all about it later. But just the nature of production. Damn. Rot said 8 minutes left. Having a cup of Joe. Terrible, as is notorious on set. And yeah, I'm gonna set up a green screen. Woo. Woo! Yeah, did it. Just finished the first scene. Like it was nothing. Like it was nothing.
About the people who are still in DSC7, they need to collect production design elements now.
All right, now coming into day 2, right? Here were a couple of my concerns. One thing about shooting off campus is, as a cine particularly, you have to keep track of all the gear that you're taking, and I can't stress this enough. We took a lot of gear, a lot of gear. So that's the first thing. The second thing that you kind of think about is how much time that you lose between transit and setting up and then loading up again, because we basically had to spend possibly about 30 to 45 minutes just packing the truck full of gear and then transit to the location, setting up there, shooting the scenes, and then coming back to school and dropping off the gear. So there's quite a lot of setup that needs to take place, and it's a little bit more intense, particularly for, I think, production design as well, because they have to like start setting up from scratch and they can't pre-do anything because you only booked the place for I'd say about 1 day, right? So yeah, day 2 was, I think, very fun, but very challenging time-wise, because these two stations now have to negotiate setup time and then how much time we actually take to shoot the scene. But I do think that we got quite a lot of them out of the way. I suppose we'll see how well we did that in post. But yeah, day two is pretty cool. I think if we just sort of figured out the little idea that we had, and I was actually so mad because we figured this out by day 3, but if we just set up some of the gear and put it aside safely in like the corners or create like a secondary bay, then we're able to sort of cut down the setup time, and then when it's time to shoot like a certain scene, we can do it really quickly, really fast.
Top of the morning, it's a Thursday, and I'm about to head out. We have a 6:20 call time, and it's currently day 2 of shooting. Yesterday was an absolute movie. We weren't able to finish everything, but it wasn't a whole train smash, but today has to be better. We're going out this time. We're not in the studio, so curious to see what today has in store, and let's get it. Nakisha, your directors are looking for you.
Right. So day 3, I think, was the craziest one because it was basically one of those days where it had its own scenes allocated to it, but also was a catch-up day or a pickup day. Mainly because we basically had to try and shoot some of the scenes that we weren't able to shoot the past 2 days on this day. And weirdly enough, I don't know what was going on, but I made a joke to one of the actors and I was like, guys, I think whatever was in the lunch today, we gotta have it every time we shoot, especially for grad film, right? Because for some reason on this day, when everybody's like energy levels were like super low after 12 hours of shooting, which is really crazy because if you think about it, you're really doing more than 12 because 12 hours is just the amount of time that you're on set, right? But I remember just telling the actors, I'm like, guys, you guys are doing so many single takes. Like sometimes we'd honestly have takes where they were supposed to be rehearsal takes or dry run takes and they end up being the take that actually makes the cut, so that was really cool. This is where I had a stroke of genius to have a green screen set up before we actually have to shoot the other scenes. That way when it's time to use the green screen, we don't have to take 40 minutes trying to set up the whole 12 by scrim frame. We can just already have it put off to the side, and that's what we did. But now here was the crazy part. That was the easy part, the shots that were in studio. Now, when it came to the shots that were outside of the studio now, particularly with the ambulance, and I so wish I could show you guys what these look like, and like how they came out, right? We had the ambulance for only about an hour or 45 minutes, somewhere around there, and we ended up only having them for like an actual take when we had about 6 minutes left of that allotted time, right? And it was quite crazy because we had a drum, but I don't know, somewhere on gear check, something happened and the drum wasn't working. So luckily I had about 8 extension cables that we used from one side of the building to where we were getting power all the way across, right? Which sounds like a solve, but now we have to use way less lights than we initially anticipated, and you have to shoot that scene as fast as possible and set it up as fast as possible because there's no way we're getting an ambulance and we're not gonna shoot with them. It makes no sense, right?
Day 3, final shoot. So, day 3 of shoot. We just finished setting up the green screen, some of the lights that we're gonna need for it. And then we're gonna take a little break and then let the production design do their thing in here. So what we're trying to do is minimize setting up time as much as possible, which is why that guy is already up and ready to go. What else? And then we're gonna see what else we can set up in the meantime, because we gotta divide and conquer today. We have a night scene as well. Honestly, most of the team is fried, so yeah, we'll see how the shoot goes, but I think we can really knock it out today. So what I think is we'll do 2 shots. We move forward and back.
Are you asking me if there's more rope?
Yeah.
No, that's whatever we use is all I brought. Do you need more rope?
So we're gonna have a light in front of us.
Fun on this production. I think experimental has a lot of scenes and I don't think 3 days is enough, but I suppose we'll just see what the final edit looks like and what the grade will look like. Hopefully I keep most of this footage stored really well so that when it's time for experimental film fest, I can make another video on this particular episode where I can actually show you guys more particularly with stuff like the PD element and how some things were recreated to look a certain way. I think that'd be really fun. But if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and comment and subscribe, most importantly, down below. If you're new, if you're returning, you do have to comment and like it. Come on, you gotta give me some of that. But other than that, thank you for stopping by once again. As always, your favorite cinematographer here, Muti. Please, if you're new, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're returning, don't forget to leave a like and a comment. I'll see you in the next video. Also, before I go, I do know, or rather, I wanted to make a video on how I shot my Zuzu ad somewhere within all these crazy weeks. We'll see how I fit that in. But I think what I'm really just enjoying right now is coming back with the content. I think the edits are looking really cool. I think I'm finding my flow state. Yeah, see you next time.